He may have been the first one to respond because one of the first tweets was directed at Mr. Beasley. And I can't say on air what Mrs. Grimes.
I mean, you can don't repeat it verbatim. Just give the listeners a sense of what she said, because everyone may not follow Miko Grimes on Twitter.
I mean, well, if you have children and children are listening to the podcast, earmuff them. I know you seen Old School. Earmuff them real quick,
bruh. For real?
And Beasley said Grimes picked negated by a Grimes hold. Kind of his year. No? And it's a fair statement. As a media personality, you want to report on what's going on with the game, with the team, good or bad. Well, Mrs. Grimes took exception. She quoted his tweet and said, "Look at this blank boy." Let's just call it a blank boy.
Let's just say it rhymes with hockey puck. Bruh. For real?
Unbelievable that the wife of a 3-time Pro Bowler who has so much invested in the content of the tweets would go out like that. And then in some other tweets, she's calling out other media personnel. There seems to be 3 members of the media down there in Miami that she really feels is trying to take food off her table. And I can understand her being upset at someone trying to take food off of her table, but this may not be the way to handle this.
Bruh. For real?
She's basically saying that those media personnel are trying to take the attention off of what she considers to be the real problem in the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill, and putting it on the defense or whoever else they can put it on. Saying some other things about those 3 media personnel. I don't know if I can even clean this up. This tweet about Magic Johnson.
Can't do it.
If you can go to the internet and just look up Miko Grimes tweet about Magic Johnson. I mean, if you got thick skin, you'll find it funny. I actually, I chuckled a little bit at first.
Bruh. For real?
And then I felt bad. I didn't know if I could chuckle.
Brent Grimes loves his wife, so basically he has to reel her in. I mean, it's not your place. You want to take up for your husband, but don't throw him under the bus in the locker room.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the more G-rated tweets that she had, just saying how much Tannehill stunk and how she knew he stunk, and said some things that may have suggested that she had some inside information, and a lot of people are suggesting that information came from Brent Grimes.
Bruh, for real?
Of how Tannehill performed in the 2-minute drill for that week's practice and didn't do well, and she knew the team was going to lose because of that.
Cannot win with him.
Head coach of the Miami Dolphins has already disputed that information, saying that they didn't even run the 2-minute drill in practice that week. Not sure how many teams go through a full week of practice not running a 2-minute drill.
Cannot coach with him.
But that's neither here or there.
So basically he's saying Miko Grimes grew up hair. Actually, she has bigger kahunas than Mike Pettin.
Oh!
The king of disrespect, Damian Banks. Catch his HBO special right after Amy Schumer.
I'm so disrespectful. Basically, Brent Grimes, don't when you see me in the street, don't swing on me. But basically, man, your wife is a jabroni and she needs to know her role. Your wife has been a jabroni. She needs to know her role.
Expressed by Damian Banks are those of Damian Banks, only of and by Damian Banks, and do not necessarily represent the views of all those operating under the Banks Boy Productions banner and All Things Sport podcast. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
No, in all seriousness, I mean, I'm joking, but for lack of a better word, I mean, she needs to relax. She needs to chill, because I understand you want to support your husband, and a media member was basically, saying that he's having a bad year. He's one of the problems on that team. And I know you want to take up for him, but you don't take up for him by bashing a teammate.
I mean, not like that.
Because it makes it
not like that.
It's making it look like that he's pillow talking to you.
Making him look bad.
And making him look bad in the locker room.
And then what that's in turn doing is maybe causing some friction within the team, which is what the crux of the matter is. How is this going to affect the team, their performance? How is this going to affect chemistry? I know offense and defense, two different fields most of the time during practices, but as a quarterback, that's the leader of the entire team. And so as the wife of anybody on the team, the last thing you want to do is go on Twitter and just disrespect in the way that she did and call out essentially the starting quarterback of the team.
Bruh, for real?
You just don't want to do that. And again, I can see her stance. I can see her thinking, these gentlemen are trying to take food off my table. And so I can definitely see why she would be upset. But there's a better way to go about it. And I can also see the position that Brent Grimes is in, being a married man, and Brent Grimes has said repeatedly, because this is not the first time his wife has been in the media for her Twitter tirades. She was in the media this January for having a 32 tweet rant about some things that went on in the Pro Bowl with Brent Grimes not getting paid for an appearance because he wanted to be with her during her time of need. Again, I can understand her being angry at these situations, but it's a better way to go about it. Brent Grimes, he probably should say something to his wife to the effect of, baby, I know you're upset, but when you go on these tirades, it not only affects you, it affects us.
Can't do it.
And so I don't know if she is okaying these things with Brent Grimes or if she's giving him a heads up of this is what I'm going to do. But it kind of needs to be that way because she's tearing down some things that could essentially do what she's trying to prevent, and that's take food off her table.
Bruh. For real? Well said, Pierre. Miko Grimes, you are the first recipient, the first female recipient, which I'm sure there'll be
watershed moment for this podcast.
Watershed, you'll go down in history as the first female recipient of Bruh For Real. Round of applause for Miko Grimes. Round of applause for Miss Miko Grimes. My Bruh For Real for this week goes to the entire Philadelphia Eagles franchise. That includes you, CEO Jeff Lurie. That includes you, former head coach Chip Kelly. That includes the fan base. That includes the vet. Bruh, for real? They don't even play at the vet anymore. Anyone who supports the Philadelphia Eagles. I cannot believe this, Pierre. Now, we're going to go back 3 years ago when they had a pretty damn good coach in Andy Reid.
Cannot coach with him.
Let Andy Reid go. Hired, a younger college coach by the name of Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly had great success at the University of Oregon. And, they took a chance and hired Chip Kelly. Looked like the chance paid off in the first 2 seasons. 2 10-6 seasons and an NFC East title in those first two seasons, man. Chip Kelly was doing his thing in Philadelphia. Jeff Lurie was like, I see Chip Kelly being here for years to come. Fast forward 3 years later, the NFC lease this year was won by the damn Washington Redskins. Bruh, for real? Quarterbacked by Kirk Cousins, man. And to top this off, Pierre, the Washington Redskins went into Philadelphia and won the division, man. Beat up the Philadelphia Eagles at home, making Kirk Cousins look like Doug Williams, man.
You like that? You like that?
I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, now, they're not going to let the Redskins win the division at home. It was so bad, man, that they had to relieve Chip Kelly of his services shortly after the game, man. Bruh, for real? Jeff. I'm not even going to call his name Jeff Lurie. I'm going to say Jeff because I feel like I know him. I mean, Jeff, come on, man. What are you doing? You just said that he's here for years to come. I mean, you can't weather the storm. Now, you gave him ultimate power over player personnel. So don't get mad and fire him when you have a down season. Now, Chip Kelly, you made some bonehead decisions. You let go of Deshaun Jackson. Bruh, for real? He came back to bite you in the rear end. You sent him to a damn divisional opponent. Bruh, for real? How smart is that?
The same divisional opponent that you just spoke of came into Philadelphia and embarrassed them.
You sent LaShawn McCoy away, and you brought in DeMarco Murray, who hasn't gained a yard since losing to the Green Bay Packers when he was the running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Bruh, For real. No knock on, on DeMarco Murray. Fantastic player. Just the wrong system for DeMarco Murray.
Cannot play with him.
You let Jeremy Maclin go to the Kansas City Chiefs. He's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Old coach. So you sent him to the Kansas City Chiefs. All they've done is won 9 games in a row.
Playoff bound.
Chip Kelly, get him out of here. You get our bruh for real. Jeff Lurie, you get our bruh for real. The whole damn Philadelphia Eagles franchise. You got diehard fans, man. Been fans for years. The Eagles have never won a Super Bowl. Now, they've won an NFL championship, but they've never won a Super Bowl. The Eagles fans deserve better. And Pierre, get this. Jeff Lurie has come out in articles saying that Chip Kelly didn't have people skills. Bruh. For real? Saying that the ownership is, going to move on in a different direction, man. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. And Chip Kelly and Jeff Lurie get my bruh for real. You're expecting these fans to stick around, and you're conducting a business in which, you're not very successful. And for that, you get my bruh. For real.
And it may be because of the holiday season, and I'm still in the giving mood, but I think that you won the bruh for real for this week, because not only did Chip Kelly make all those poor GM choices that you named, but you didn't even name one of the worst personnel moves in the history of that franchise, bringing in Sam Bradford to be your starting quarterback.
I mean, you let Deshaun Jackson go. You let Jeremy Maclin go. Who's your number one receiver? Is it Bradley Cooper's brother? Is it Jerry Rice's distant cousin? Bruh. For real? Like, those are their number one receivers, man. I mean, you just got bad personnel moves being made by the head coach / GM. So it's quite absurd that, Chip Kelly is out of here after just 3 seasons and 2 very successful seasons. He had 1 down year, but I understand you're under massive pressure to win at all times in the NFL, and this season was a down year for the Philadelphia Eagles. So Chip Kelly, Jeff Lurie, and the entire Philadelphia Eagles franchise gets my bruh for real for this episode of the All Things Sport podcast. So we're gonna wrap up this segment. Our producer is telling us we got to take a commercial break. We'll be back with our top 5 on the All Things Sport podcast.
Pierre Banks here, thanking you all for listening to the All Things Sport podcast. Please subscribe for much more of the show. Also, join myself and Rudy Mondragon for In My Humble, The Split Decision, where we discuss all things boxing and what is just our humble opinion on the In My Humble YouTube channel.
The All Things Sport Podcast.
We go back like spinal cords and car seats.
With Damian Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
Welcome back to the All Things Sport podcast. It's Damian Banks alongside Pierre Banks. And if you're listening to us, you're listening to Podcasting Genius. And now,
the All Things Sport Top 5.
We give you our top 5 sports moments of 2015. Being that we're moving into 2016, this is going to be the first podcast of the new year. We're going to try to give you a year-end review of what we thought our top 5 moments of 2015 were.
Yeah, a lot of good moments in 2015, man. So a lot to choose from. But again, these are just the top 5 stories we feel in our humble opinion. Number 5.
Now, we do All Things Sport, Pierre. And in the spirit of All Things Sport, my number 5 is going to be Jordan Spieth. PGA golfer, young man, under 25 years old, had a hell of a season on the PGA Tour. Get this, Pierre. 2 major wins, the Masters and the U.S. Open. Finished in the top 4 in the other 2 majors, the PGA and the Open Championship. Great season by Jordan Spieth. With Tiger Woods not playing his best, golf needs new blood. They need new names in golf. You got Rory McIlroy. You also now have Jordan Spieth.
Number 4.
Sepp Blatter. I should have put him on our names, our top 5 names. Sepp Blatter was the president of FIFA since 1998. major